Alrighty guys, welcome back to the Best Investing Money Management channel on YouTube. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the top 3 stocks to buy for the second quarter. Now, we all know the first quarter is ending this month, and now we are rolling into the second quarter of 2022. So these are going to be some of the top stocks, guys, that I am buying going into this quarter here. I'm super excited to see kind of what happens, and obviously these are all my picks, so do your own research before you guys invest or buy stocks. This is just my recommendation here. So the very first one is Disney, ticker symbol DIS. Now, the reason why I love Disney so much is because they are an absolute media powerhouse, right? And I'm a huge Disney adult. I love Disney, I love their movies, and I really love their products and everything that they have. And if we actually look at the chart here, you guys can see it does have some pretty hard resistance up here at about $200, right? It hit it several times, just has a hard time breaking above that, okay? Establishing resistance, okay? If we actually look at support, on the other hand, support stepping in at about 167. It hit it several times and just got a lot of buying pressure near and around there every single time. Then they did release some earnings. Their earnings did not go as planned, right? Causing the stock to sell off a little bit more. And now we are pretty much consolidating on a downward trend. So if we look at it, there is some supports that is right here at about 117 to about 106. Right in this zone, you guys can see we have this tendency to get a decent amount of buying pressure. And I really think that Disney underneath 120 is an absolute bargain. At the end of the day, yes, they did miss their earnings. And yes, they're not doing as well as a lot of people hoped. But at the end of the day, they bring in about $18.5 billion per quarter. And you can't compete with that, right? And I definitely think with everything that they have going on, they have several new movies coming out, a whole bunch of Marvel stuff. They have Disney Plus on the rise. Everything that they have is actually doing very, very well. So I definitely think picking up a couple of shares for this next quarter. We did have a decent earnings right here, as you guys can see, and the market did not react like we thought, right? It popped up and sold off a little bit. So I definitely think extremely undervalued and a company that I really don't think is going anywhere anytime soon. Now, stock number 2 is ticker symbol ADBE. Now, this one here is Adobe. Now, for those of you that don't know what Adobe is, Adobe offers a whole bunch of creative tools, whether it's Photoshop, video editing, a whole bunch of things, more things that I even know. And this is Adobe is a site and a company that I actually use and work with quite often. And you can see over the past couple of years, we've just seen a steady rise of Adobe, right? The stock company was doing great, very good earnings. And obviously it hit up here at almost about $900, establishing some pretty hard resistance. It hit it several times, sold off. Now you guys can see it does have some pretty hard support right here at about 417. It hit it several times, and each and every time we have a lot of buying pressure near and around there. Not to mention there is some old resistance right here at about 377. Old resistance has tendencies to act as new support. So we understand that there's going to be some sort of support from, this 270 mark to probably, 417, which is about, a $40 window, which represents good opportunities to get some shares. Not to mention, guys, yes, looking at their past couple of earnings, they've done pretty freaking well. So I definitely think this is a company not to sleep on. They bring in a lot of money, and at the end of the day, yes, we've seen a lot of volatility. We've seen a lot of sell-off. But for me, this just looks like a for sale sign to pick up a couple of shares of this and not even worry about it, right? I definitely think the overall idea of creative tools, Photoshop, Premiere Pro, their video editing service, I definitely think that's not going to slow down. I really think there's a huge demand for that going into these next couple of years, where technologies, people are only getting more and more dependent, and social media, where Adobe thrives because that's where a lot of customers use it for. I definitely think social media, we are just getting started. I think there's a huge opportunity for the metaverse, and I think Adobe's gonna take up a little bit of that market share. But moving on to the next one here. The next one here is ticker symbol DPZ, also known as Domino's Pizza, right? Different one that I normally talk about here. You can see this thing has a beautiful upward trend, right? It has lows down here at about probably near and around that $100 mark, steady upward trend. Very good earnings, as you guys can see. And the reason why I love Domino's is because we have this great upward trend, and they do pay a dividend, right? If we go ahead and we look at it, dividend of about 94 cents, which does not seem like much, but that's paid out on a quarterly basis. So you guys can start compounding your account every quarter. Not to mention, as you guys can see, this does have some pretty hard support near and around this 371 mark. If we look at it, you can see it hit it several times, and each and every time we've seen a lot of buying pressure right around there. So given that the stock right now is at 378, I think we'll slowly start to see this thing consolidate out. And looking at their past earnings, it wasn't the greatest, but at the end of the day, companies do go through hard times, and that's all we have, right? I think there's a huge value for this on the growth and dividend side. Dividend of $1.10 on the past one, so you can't go wrong with that. It sold off from the highs from 565 all the way down to 378. This is a good one. I don't have a whole lot of like food companies in my portfolio, so this is going to be one that I definitely diversify my account a little bit, just because I'm so tech heavy. It's good to throw some Domino's Pizza, some Chipotle in there, and let these companies ride and thrive. But guys, that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Top 3 stocks that I am buying. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We will see you guys later. Remember to stay happy, stay positive, and stay safe. Take care.